Apparently the first time this place was used, back in the 1450s, as a place to house people who had the plague. And this is the general layout of it. Some verbiage that tells you as much. And smart, as we saw in one other port, to keep people who have the plague or some communicable disease locked up. That can, of course, sound cruel, but you can do a utilitarian calculation of it. Would you rather have a few people discomfited or even die if it's something incurable, or have everybody die? So it's sad but true. And here is the other side of the fort. All of the signs here are in Spanish. Some of them have been translated, but not these. That's the spirit. When you're traveling, take time to kick back and enjoy the place. What I guess is agave. Had a whopper, one of those in Florida. That central pistil, or whatever it's called, went up to 34 feet in the one I had in Florida. Unbelievable. I never could imagine that they would do that. And then they, at least the one I had, they bloomed that one time. After about 10 years, they set off babies, and that's it. Then they die. C'est la vie. Pretty impressive place. It reminds me of the Martello Towers when I was a kid in Key West, and I thought that was unique. I thought, we've got the Martello Towers. But it turns out they're pretty common. It was a way of building fortifications during that time. So they show up all over the place. But this was really big. This is much bigger than anything like that. Like if you go to Fort Jefferson, off the Florida Keys, you'll see something like this. And lots of places in Europe have this kind of thing. Anywhere there's a waterway to protect. Now here's a dilapidated pathway I guess you're not supposed to take. Those barriers have come down. So I'm going to walk through all these flowers. There's a little path made. Get up and see this thing from above. And again, the barriers have miraculously been removed. And one can get a better vantage point. Looks like someone tried some fortifications of a different sort. A different type of gun, maybe. Or maybe that was a fire pit. Shot of the city from a distance. The whole thing's much bigger than I ever realized. I always thought of this as just a stop on the way to see other places, but apparently there's a lot more to it. That's usually the case. You know, you think you know everything about some place or what have you, and suddenly you find there's a whole lot more to be seen. Another reason for traveling, you know, in this case, to places that you have already been, because there's lots of stuff in just about any place that you've never noticed before. One of the disadvantages to not being able to see is having a camera on a completely wrong setting. When you've just said the most perfect thing that you'll never remember, nah, that hasn't happened. Once you get beyond the city walls, there's all kinds of this lively town center, central market, and now that it's at least around noon, you get a lot of people out selling stuff and this is the old one that they've closed, the city market. And then heads on down this way. All right, there is a way to get inside this old market. Looks like it's being refurbished. Seen better days, but they're fixing it up again. There's once this place opens, it's just after noon on a Sunday. Once it opens, it should be awfully busy. And then the part that's closed, and I assume open during the week, is all things that would be fish market, you know, daily foodstuffs that aren't available today. Otherwise, you're looking at food and drink and all kinds of great goodies. All these kind of beautiful seafood and sandwiches, Aperol spritz. I don't know, some people like them. That ain't me. More great seafood. Beer and wine. The European tradition of having a beer or a glass of wine during lunch is well represented, even on a weekend. All kinds of need to eat taste treats. Cooked and not yet. Beautiful. No shortage of libations. All right, and at the bottom of the city, there's an old salt mine. It was Roman. Depiction. Yeah. Something, huh? Is that my camera doing that?
Dicen que los fenicios que habitan la llamada Cadiz y navegan más allá de las columnas de Hércules llegan a unos parajes en los que se encuentran en abundancia atunes asombrosos.
Life in the big city. And this is as big a part of the city as there is. It's a great size. It's got everything you need. A lot of beautiful side streets that are just gorgeous and quiet, and then it's got this big open plaza, but it's small enough not to get crazy. Nothing like Barcelona. And yeah, there are those who might find it boring, others who might find it refreshing. That's a live vocal behind me. Cerveceria. Spanish is the worst. And I call it, the translation is appointment with destiny. Well, but that'll give you an idea. So if I don't talk to you again, happy King's Day, it turns out to be, from Cadiz.